John 8:31, 32. Notice, then Jesus said to those Jews who believed him, if you abide in my word, you are my disciples indeed or truly. If you abide in my word, you are genuine disciples. You're the real deal. And you shall know the truth. Watch this. And the truth shall make, not set, truth shall make you free. Truth is going to cause something miraculous or supernatural to take place in your life. Because when we really look at it, what truth is going to free you from, you were not able to free yourself. Come on. But when you start abiding in truth, truth freed you. Come on. Truth transformed you for the better. Is that your testimony? It's certainly my testimony. Things that I got loose from, I couldn't have did it on my own. The place I am right now, I couldn't have got here on my own. It took me abiding in truth. And then the more I remained in truth, truth freed me. Do y'all hear me? I said truth freed me. So what you see up here, I'm just dealing with me for a moment, is not an overnight success. This is years, come on somebody, of walking in truth. Some folk want it overnight. And God will give you changes overnight. But to do in your life in totality what he desires to do, there's a process that he has to take you through. Am I right about that? But if you will abide in the truth, he will cause your life to be so much better than anything you could have done on your own. That's my testimony to a youth, to a young adult. Don't get caught up in what this world is offering you, thinking all you want to do is get the bag and you gonna be happy. No, the world is giving away bags, but it is things attached to it that will ruin your life. But God say, abide in my word and I'll give you the bag plus. Come on, because he'll do an Ephesians 3:20 in your life. But he can't do it unless you abide in his word or in truth. If you believe it and know it to be so, then truth becomes the thing which we should never forsake. And so based upon that, look at a neighbor, tell your neighbor the subject this morning. Do not forsake truth. Look at somebody else and tell him or her, do not forsake truth. And let's give God a tremendous hand clap for the word thus far. Do not forsake truth. We know again that truth is God. John 17:17, he says, sanctify them through your truth. Then he said, thy word is truth. God is, according to John 1:1, the word. In the beginning was the word. The word was with God, and the word was God. So God is his word. Truth is the word. The word is God. John 1:14 said, and then the word or the truth became flesh. Now we got Jesus in the earth realm. Now we have the word, watch this, walking amongst men. We got the word talking, conversating with man. We have the word in flesh becoming our primary or main example. Again, that being Jesus or Yeshua. But when we consider the word again, we also consider the word being truth, and the word is also the will of God. And so we are not wrong to say if we abide in the truth, or if we abide in the word, if we abide in God, if we abide in God's will, we gonna know the truth, we gonna know the word, we gonna know the will of God, and the will of God is going to make us free. Listen, it's going to transform us for the better. And so if that is the case, and many of us know it to be true, because this is not just something that we have heard from others, but it is our own personal experience. That's what I love about part of Deacon Hill's testimony, is that what I love about God is that he will give you your own personal experience. Come on, somebody. Yeah, we look throughout the scriptures at people that got a healing from God, and we appreciate the scripture. But it ain't nothing like God healing your body when you stood on his word. He caused a change to take place that Tylenol could not do. Come on, Advil couldn't handle that migraine, but when you called on the name, oh, and there are a few of us that have done it, obviously. But he's a healer. And so based upon that, listen to me, we should not forsake truth. When you forsake something, number one, you leave it. Don't tell me the truth had transformed your life, and then I find you leaving the truth. I find you abandoning the truth. Well, Lord have mercy, you start renouncing the truth. See, you can leave the truth or the word or the will of God. You can leave it in thought. You can leave it in word. You can leave it in deed. Sometimes, you know, people have left truth or abandoned truth because now they're talking differently. What they were saying 6 months ago is not what they're saying today. And so it becomes obvious by what's coming out of their mouth that they done left truth. How many of you ever talked to somebody and you knew according to what was coming out of their mouth, you knew they were no longer abiding in truth? See, in part, I'm going to know where you at. You're going to know where I'm at just by listening. You ain't going to have to wonder or pray if pastor is still in truth. Just come to church and listen to me teach and preach. Am I still preaching and teaching according to the word? Or have I written a book that I'm teaching out of every Sunday? It's to the point to where my book is more powerful than the book. Come on, somebody. And that's how some preachers are. They don't even preach out the word no more. They preach out of their books. Come on. Nothing you or I could ever write will become more powerful than the word itself. Because if we are abiding in truth, watch this, whatever book we write is going to line up with what? The truth or the word. Am I right? You write a book on marriage. If you're really abiding in the word, you cannot include in your book that a man can marry a man, that a woman can be with a woman. Come on, you can't include that in your book, not if your book is based on the book. Am I right about that? But notice when Jesus started talking, it's clear in verse 31 who he was talking to. Look back at it again. Then Jesus said to those Jews who believed him. He started talking to people who believed him. So Lord, you wasn't talking to everybody. You were just talking to people who believe you. Because notice what Jesus even recognized. That everybody who heard him didn't believe him. You know I know that. That even though I'm going to teach today line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. We're going to line the word up today. There probably will be somebody to leave here today and they will not believe the report. They're going to keep living the way they were living before they ever came here. Even though the word was meant to cause change for the better. See, this is important because you can't be getting all twisted and bent out of shape because everybody won't believe what you believe. Come on. I learned that years ago. Look, I'm going to stand on this. And no matter how many of my relatives kick against it, you won't move me. Come on. You won't move me. You won't move how I do things at my house. Nothing I'm doing is going to change because you don't believe. But with some people, it do. They'll be believing until they start hanging with an unbeliever. Woo, quiet in the house. That's when the Bible teaches us not to be unequally yoked together with what? An unbeliever. Because when you get yoked to certain unbelievers, they ain't thinking about believing what you believe. And they show you in word, thought, and deed. I don't want nothing to do with that. Woo, quiet in the house. But what's interesting is verse 33. Because we know he was talking to Jews who what? Believed. But then look at verse 33. They answered him, we are Abraham's descendants and have never been in bondage to anyone. How can you say you will be made free? He was talking to believers, but unbelievers had a response. Why is this important to us? Because you got to recognize there are folk that can't live it and they don't want you to live it. Come on. These folks are deniers of truth. They don't want to walk in the truth. This is so important. They just want to argue about it. Now, Jesus said, if you abide in my word, you're going to truly be my disciples. You're going to know the truth. The truth going to make you free. Now, they come back and say, hey, we ain't ever been in bondage. Can I break it down? We don't need to be saved. We don't need truth to be free. We Abraham's seed. Denying what Jesus came to do. Not recognizing that Jesus was in truth Abraham's father. And he had to bust him up and say, before Abraham was, I am. I was there before Abraham. Come on, somebody. And see, so what we learn with this is that even though he was talking to Jews who believed, he got a response from the Jews who didn't believe. Because what you got to recognize when you abiding in truth is that folk gonna talk. You better tell somebody, folk gonna talk. Tell your neighbor, just like they talked when you were a sinner. Tell your neighbor, now that you're a saint, striving to do right, shout real loud, some are still talking. You know what that said? That said that there's some folk you never gonna please. They were talking about you before you got in church. You got in church, stop stealing, stop gambling, you stop running women, stop being the town drunk. Now what they say about you since you're saved and full of the Holy Ghost, look at him, he go to church too much. He always smiling. He always talking about that Bible and that Jesus of here and what his giving will do, how his giving will change his living. So y'all still talking about me. Why am I teaching this? Because if you don't get accustomed to folk talking, you will not be able to abide in truth. Because you're going to allow what folks say to pull you out of truth. It don't take all that. No, it take all this and more. I ain't got time to listen. I like Nehemiah's response when he was rebuilding the wall. Doing the will of God. Folk tried to meet with him. Up to no good. They said, come down off the wall so we can talk to you. I'm paraphrasing. And meet us in oh no. But that's exactly what Nehemiah said. It's kind of, oh no. Nehemiah said, oh no to oh no. Come on. There are certain people, you're not being rude, but I don't have time to listen to what you're saying. We done been over this. I done showed you Bible. I showed you Word. Woo, I know I'm talking right. Now I'm not going to continue arguing and debating. Watch this. What I know has changed my life. There will be no debate about tithing in this church because I know what tithing has done for me and God's people. So it don't matter what Reverend so-and-so say. It don't matter what Pastor Quarter say. Pastor Quarter can keep talking, but I'm going to keep abiding in the truth. Pastor, seem like you stubborn. Yeah, but in a good way. Stubborn is not always a negative connotation. Sometimes you got to get stubborn about the right thing. When it comes to the word, I don't want to be a poodle. I want to be a pit bull. I want to lock down on this thing. God, I wish I had some witnesses. I said, I want to lock down on the word. See, I know what it's done for me. I know what it's done for me. I know when people said I'd never be nothing. It was the word that made me something. Come on. Am I just talking about me? Folks said you'll never be nothing. Said you'll never accomplish anything. I remember when folks said about her, he ain't gonna ever get himself together. Only thing made them a liar was truth. That's when the word say, let every man be a liar, but let the word be what? Truth. Y'all ready to dig a little bit? Y'all ready to dig a little bit? What we talking about? Do not forsake what? Do not forsake what? Now you got to recognize in the time in which we live, there are churches, there are organizations, bishops, apostles. They are backing off of truth. Now the main reason they backing off is because in one sense the church is taking heat from other sects and organizations who don't believe what we believe. Listen carefully. And sometimes when folks stop believing what you believe, they'll try to apply pressure to you or put heat on you to change, or else they're going to leave. Come on. But see, if you done vowed that you ain't going to forsake truth, then sometimes it's necessary, may not be what you want, but it's necessary to allow people to walk away. I would rather folk leave me than these folks stay and I lead the word. Come on, look at somebody and say, there are people who enter your life for a season. Come on, tell your neighbor, there are people who enter your life for a blessing and a lesson. Did y'all catch? And a lesson. God, why you let them into my life? They wasn't no blessing. No, they were a lesson. I let them enter so I can teach you something. And sometimes you can say all day with your mouth, I ain't going to forsake the law. I'm going to abide in the word no matter what. Well, no matter what has to show up. Some things have to come that will try you. You have to be, your feet, if the old folks say, have to be put to the fire. Come on. Look at Proverbs 4. See, that's just like today. Now, if Donna gets stupid and want to abandon the truth, she know I'm not following. She should. I hope she said amen. She know I'm not following her. There's no question about it. That seat right there will be empty for a minute. Y'all going to be wondering what's going on. First lady done abandoned the truth. And really, she wouldn't even be no first lady no more. She ain't no example. She don't turn back and doing what she used to do. And then think I'm going to follow her. Think I'm going to be that wimp. That jellyback. But everybody ain't like that. Some folk leave because their spouse leave. Their spouse abandoned the truth, so they abandon it. Their friend abandoned truth, so they abandon it. That ain't me. Come on, I hope I'm preaching right. That ain't me. I hear some more folks saying that ain't me. If a person asks you to choose between them and God, and you tell them, well, I got to pray. Ooh, you twisting my arm here. It's going to be a tough decision. You and God? Yeah, let me know in 48 hours. Oh, it ain't got to be, ain't no 40. I don't need 48 hours. I choose God. What if your mama tell you that? I'm tired of you coming over here with that God stuff. Now, don't come back, girl, if you got to talk about God ever here again. It's going to be me or God. Choose your mama or your God. Mama, you gave me natural birth, but he gave me rebirth. Some of y'all like I'm making you mad. Like, Pastor, you shouldn't say that. Jesus said, you shouldn't put father, mother, children before him. That's what he said. Now this weak church, they letting folk put any and everything for God, and it's okay. Look at Proverbs 4. Now listen, because we're going to get into the meat of it. Do not forsake the truth. Listen. Proverbs 4, let's start at verse 1 for clarity. Proverbs 4:1. Are y'all there? Hear, my children, the instruction of a father, and give attention to know understanding. For I give you good doctrine. Do not forsake my law. Notice that a person can forsake, according to this text, something that is good. Hear, my children, the instructions of a father. Give attention to know understanding. Notice what he said. For I give you good doctrine, good teaching. Do not forsake my law. I just want to prove to you that once saved, always saved is not true. You and I can both forsake the law. The law is the word. The word is God. Listen, God will never forsake us, but we can forsake him. Are y'all hearing me? You can choose, even though the law or the word is good, you can choose to forsake it. Now here's a father talking to his children, and he knows that what he's given his children, number one, is good. Let's break this down. It's healthy. Well, first of all, it's right. Good represent what's right. I'm telling you what's right. I'm telling you what's right. Listen, church, that means being free moral agents. We can forsake what's right. Nobody is going to twist your arm to make you do what's right. What my parents said, they got grown children. If you could, you give them a lollipop, a popsicle, and send them to their room. And tell them, you ain't coming out of that room until you want to play right. And because they want that popsicle, you're going to see them coming out of there. You going to play right? Yeah, ma'am. Here you go. Some of you don't understand because you got grown children. When they get grown, you want to take them sometime and just, come on, mama, I don't care how big he is. When he get acting like you ain't taught him what's good, because his chest sticking out, he got hair on his face, just make you want to. But see, you have to recognize as a parent, as a leader, you can do good teaching, but folk can forsake what you teach.
Thank you for watching the Making People Productive broadcast with Pastor Leonard D. Cochran of A Place of Refuge, Noonan. To order your copy of today's message, please call the church office at 770-252-3855 and reference the message number listed below. We want to hear from you. If you have been helped, strengthened, or encouraged by the word, let us know. Also, don't forget to connect with us on all of our major social media platforms to receive exclusive information and updates with all things Refuge Noonan. A Place of Refuge Noonan is located in the city of Noonan, Georgia. If you would like to visit us, our worship times are every Sunday at 10:15 a.m. on location and live at 10:45 a.m. We also have service every Wednesday at 7:15 p.m. via Facebook and YouTube Live.